happiness? Are you always looking for approval, wanting someone to say yes and not being able to handle rejection? If this is you, then this episode is certainly for you. This episode is on people pleasing and understanding the hidden costs of people pleasing. And yes, you've landed on an episode of Me and My Health Up. I'm your host, Anthony Harcher. I'm a clinical nutritionist and lifestyle medicine specialist. I love this podcast because it's all about enhancing and enlightening your well-being. I love doing it from a mind and body perspective. And in this episode, we're focusing on the mind because, as you know, the mind is connected with the body. What goes on in the mind influences what goes on in the body. So if you want overall wellness, you need to be looking after both your mind, your mental health, and your physical health. And this episode is focused on people pleasing and understanding what it's costing you from people pleasing. And certainly there'll be people out there listening that are not quite sure whether they're a people pleaser. So I'm going to discuss how you can unravel whether or not you're a people pleaser and once you're aware of it, then you can actually do something about it. So certainly, as you know, Health Up is a very practical and pragmatic podcast. It's about giving you tips and hints on how to succeed in all areas of wellness and well-being. So let's talk about people pleasing, and are you a people pleaser? And in essence, a people pleaser is someone that says yes to everything and struggles to say no. They'd like to say no because often when they say yes, they're thinking, oh, I don't really want to do that. And now I'm looking for a reason to get out of it, right? So if that's you, then yes, that's people pleasing. When you're looking for approval, seeking approval from others, asking them whether they agree or whether they approve or whether they're on board or what they think, all those sort of things, seeking approval is certainly, in essence, people pleasing because you're looking for their approval to carry out or execute a certain behavior or to do something. And so, yeah, if you're a yes person or, always seeking approval or just wanting to fit in. So you're doing things to fit in, which is very much that saying yes to everything and not really considering whether it's something you want to do, but because other people are doing it or you think you should do it. So if you're thinking should, ought to, must, all those sort of things, then it's coming from somewhere else. It's not coming from within. It's not truly aligned to what you want to do. In essence, this podcast, I love doing this podcast. So there's no one telling me to do this podcast. I'm not trying to people please anyone in doing this podcast. I'm actually recording this episode on a public holiday. So it's a delight to be doing this for you and enhancing your well-being because I love doing that. That's my mission. My purpose is to enhance and enlighten the well-being of others. So I live for that. And so if you're catching yourself and considering things that I should turn up to this function, or it's something I should do, or I ought to do it, or I got to do it, those sort of thinking in your brain is you looking to fit in and please someone, like by saying yes, that you think that they want you there. But in essence, they could be just trying to be polite and make you feel that you're welcome, but they might underlying think that I don't really want you to come. I want you to say no. And at the same time, you're thinking, yes, I want to say no, but I don't want to let you down. And therefore, it's a lose-lose situation. So this episode is helping you identify when you're in a people-pleasing mindset and how to, creating that awareness and then how to. That's what's wired in terms of that primitive wiring from early on is seeking mum and dad's approval and acceptance so that you fit in. You're reliant on them to survive. You cannot physically fend for yourself. It's not like some animals where they're popped out and they're pretty much standing within, a day or two or within hours of being popped out. And so they're much more quickly able to survive without the support of their parents a lot quicker than what humans are. We actually need time with our parents in order to be able to survive by ourselves. And so it really comes back to that early days of wiring the brain and being in that survival thinking that I need my parents, I need their approval, and I need their love in order to have a shelter, in order to be fed, and so we're constantly doing